I'm your host, Shon Black Mac. And today, I don't know what the heck we talking about, bro. I don't. Um, I came in this joint today. I thought I had some topics that I wanted to talk about, bro, and I have nothing. I got writer's block. And the only thing that I can think of really to talk about is I don't think too many people like themselves. And I think that's a huge problem in life. I mean, that's not something I was going to talk about, but like, just thinking about it, right? People just don't like themselves. They don't like their jobs. They don't like this. They don't like that. They don't like people. They don't like things. They don't like anything. People don't like themselves. And if I have an echo, let me know. As you guys get on, man, let me know if there's an echo in the game, and I'll switch it up. As I can't tell on my end, so it's always good. Yo, yo, yo. What's that? What up? What up? Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, people people don't like themselves, man, and it is a daggone thing. You know what I mean? And I mean that's like I said, that's not what I was going to talk about, but that's just something that was on my mind. I have a lot of people who I speak to on a regular basis, and I've come to the conclusion that there's a lot of people out there that just don't see themselves as worthy. They don't see themselves as somebody that can, like, everybody pretends like they have everything together, right? Everything's together, everything is this, everything is that. But when it comes down to it, do you really have it together? What up, Keita? Sorry about I was tardy for the party. You know what I'm saying? I was getting myself together and lost track of time. But it is what it is. Like, you know, people gotta understand that. And we're talking about. I was saying that I don't really have anything to really chat about today. Thought I had some thoughts that I was gonna do on advice, and um, I really didn't have anything. And then I thought about it. I was like, you gotta like yourself, and I mean not in a selfish way, but you really do have to like yourself, man. You have to like yourself. Yo, what up, Dez? Thanks for coming in. My faithful followers are in here, man. I appreciate all the love I be getting, man. And you know what I'm saying? Now, no, yeah, you have to love yourself, but not in the way that it's in a selfish way. You have to like yourself enough to love other people. Because see, loving yourself, like when people, and I'm not saying this is you, but when most people say, "Oh, I love myself," it usually comes from like a self-centered point of view, and you don't want a self-centered point of view when you're talking about that. Like liking yourself just means that you look at yourself. Why did I do that? You look at yourself and you say, "This chair is the worst chair. I got the worst chair ever in life." What up? What up? Hold on. This chair's had it. I hate this chair because it sits low to the ground, and the fly Puerto Rican likes it low to the ground. I don't know why. And so it's low to the ground, and you see how I just shrank, and I can't pull the chair back up, so it's just done. I got to get a new piston for it. I think so. Exactly. Self care is different from Loving yourself. Hold on, guys. I gotta fix this chair. This chair is crazy. But yeah, self care is different from then loving yourself, and you gotta love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't love other people. But you have to also have self care. Ah, there we go. Get this chair back in the mix. I don't know how the fly Puerto Rican loves to sit in this chair with it laying on the floor. And so yeah, you gotta, like, for me, dang, I'm out of breath. Whew. Like, so for me, I'm one of those people who, it is Herman Miller. It's a great chair, it just needs a new piston. But when you look at people in when you look at people, right? Sorry about that interruption. Kind of interrupted my thought, but people have to realize that loving yourself and taking care and being and liking yourself are two different things. When you like yourself, you like the things that you do, how you move. You know what I'm saying? And when people are in your orbit around you, it's a self confidence that you have, right? It's not rude. It's not none of that. It's just you can tell when somebody enjoys themselves, like not themselves, but you can tell when they enjoy other people. You can tell that person likes themselves. It's how you present yourself. It's how you move, how you deal with situations. You know, are you the grimy backstabber? Most people that are the grimy backstabbers, they don't like themselves. That's why they're the grimy backstabber, right? The people who like themselves, they don't need to do that kind of stuff because they like themselves. They like, man, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, because if you like you, then you not going to dislike yourself. You know what I mean? Loving you is different. Like when you say, I love myself, right? You have to, like, you have to demonstrate that in a way that makes sense. No, you love yourself. Well, show me how you love yourself. No, you like yourself. You like who you are. But most people don't like who they are. I mean, if they're honest with themselves, they don't like who they are. Most people don't like who they are. Most people are busy trying to mask who they are as people. They want you to they want you to see something different than they see. Like I see myself, I like who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? Now there was times in my life when I was like, man, I don't know, I might not be the best person there is out there. But as an older person, as somebody who's a little bit more seasoned, I can say, you know what, truly I like myself because I'm doing what I need to do as far as keeping things the way they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? I respect people, I respect people's time, I respect people's emotions, I respect people's uh I respect for other people is a way that you show that you like you. You know, it's the basic things. You know, do unto others as that you want them to do unto you, right? If you like yourself, you won't treat other people bad. You see the way that they take care of themselves. That's another thing too. The way you take care of yourself is a real good indication that you like yourself. If you don't take care of you, you don't like yourself. You know what I mean? And it's just not a physical thing; it's an emotional thing. You know, and it's a tough subject. It's a tough subject because people run into all kinds of problems, and they take those problems and they fill themselves with these problems, right? They just fill themselves with these crazy problems, and then, but for real, it's not about you filling yourself with all these problems. It's just you have to when you enjoy who you are as a person, you can get through those problems. You can get through anything. First with Christ. Secondly, you get through the problems because you like yourself enough to say, okay, what am I doing? Self-reflection, right? A lot of people don't self-reflect. You have to self-reflect. If you don't self-reflect, you won't enjoy who you are as a person. You know, there's a lot of stuff. Like there's stuff that I be looking at myself, I'll be like, dang son, I shouldn't have done that. I had to step to people and say, you know what, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. Why? Because I like myself to know that I know that if I would have done that to somebody, if somebody would have done what I did to them, I would be upset about it. And so you have to like yourself in a way to say, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have did that. And when you can self reflect, that means you like yourself enough to self reflect. See, most people don't self reflect. It's their way or the highway. They're like, oh, you know what? I don't care what that person thinks. I don't care. But then, if that shoe was on the other foot, you would care what that you would want that other person to care what you think, and that's real talk. And that's the thing that people don't understand is that, yeah, liking yourself, loving yourself, when you like who you are as a person, it's either easy for other people to love you, and then there's other people that won't love you because they don't like themselves. It sounds weird, bro. When you sit back and you dissect it, take any situation that you've been in the last 6 months, and look at the people that you had to deal with that were problematic in your life, and ask yourself, is it you or is it them? And if it's you, how the heck do you change who you are so that you can have a better outcome when you're dealing with individuals? And then if you're honest with yourself, you can say, well, you know what? I did some stuff that I shouldn't have done, but also that person did something that they shouldn't have done also. And so then when you look at that, you say, okay, does that person really care about them, who they are as people? Because part of caring about yourself is how you perceive, how other people perceive you. Not so much that you care what they think, right? But you want people to treat you the way you want to be treated, and you can't do that. Can't treat people good if you don't like who you are. You just can't. I know it sounds crazy. So I'm telling you, it sounds wild, but it's the absolute, honest to God truth. You cannot like yourself. If you don't like yourself, you won't like other people. You ever hear people say, I hate people? I hate people. I hate people. That's what people say. I hate people. But you hate people because you don't like who you are as a person. They'll lie to you and tell that they do. I like me. No, you don't. Can't like you if you don't like other people. There's no way. There's no way. Say you are putting other people down to make yourself feel good. That's an old school saying. You put me down just so you can feel good. You know? And there's a difference it's a difference between you like cooking people and frying people, and then you actually like putting people down to make you feel good. That's right. Because people who like themselves don't need to do stuff like that. They don't need to snitch on other people to make themselves look good. Oh, I'm gonna go tell on this person. Why? Why do you care enough? You're doing it because you understand, like, what I'm saying, you think that that's how you gain acceptance because you don't like you. You're trying to gain favor from somebody, so you're looking at that as an opportunity to say this or say that, do this or do that, but you don't like yourself. And the remedy of that is you need to figure out not who you are, because you know who you are. You know who you are as a person. People say, I'm trying to find out who I am. You know who you are. You know if you're an ugly person on the inside. You know if you're a scared person on the inside. You know if you're battling this and you're battling. You know exactly who you are. Stop the cap. You know who you are. The thing what you need to do is you need to reconcile with yourself and say, listen, I'm either a good person or a bad person. And if I'm a good person, then how do I go on projecting that? If I'm a bad person, how do I change? See, there's only a one way or the other. There ain't no multiple and caveats and all that. You're either a good person or you're a bad person. You know what I'm saying? There's no in betweens. No, zero in betweens. Zero in betweens. You know what I mean? And most people that you deal with don't like themselves. They could be good people and don't like themselves. And that sounds crazy, right? Because you said Sean Black, you just said good people don't like the good people are bad. People that don't like themselves are bad people. No, people that don't like themselves could be sad people. You know what I mean? People don't like themselves could be timid people. People that don't like themselves could be uh, angry people. People that don't like they could be all kinds of different people. But you're either a good person. You could be a sad person and still be a good person. Just because you're sad doesn't mean you're bad. Just because you have anxiety doesn't mean you're bad. You know what I mean? It's when you get to the point where you start saying things where everything is about you. That's when you start flipping the script. Start turning things around. You like, okay, oh, you know what? I'm me, and this is me, and this is that, and other thing. And then all of a sudden you start going down a rabbit hole. And also misery loves company, right? Miserable people are bad people. Well, now I'm gonna change that. Miserable people sometimes they're good, but most of the time they're bad. Because misery loves company, and miserable people will do things that are crazy. That's it. That's all we can be, a sinner saved by grace. That's what I am. There's nothing good about me as far as like with the way God looks at it. Now, am I a good? Am I a good? Am I a decent human being? I think I'm decent. I think I'm a decent person. I think that there was a time when I was like not decent as a person. I wouldn't do things that were malicious, but I wasn't a I wasn't a bad like yeah, I was in the bad people category. And with God's grace, He changed what I am today. You know, I and that's just what it is. So if you're struggling with that, you gotta look at who are you? What makes you you? What makes you a good person or a bad person? What makes you you? And then when you find out what makes you you, then you turn around and you say, okay, now that I've figured out why I am this person or that person, what can I do to change and how do I change that? Because people. Then there's people that deal with all kinds of underlying issues, right? They have family problems, they have man problems, they have trauma problems, they have all kinds of different issues that they deal with that play a part of whether they're a good or a bad person, or that whether they like themselves or they don't like themselves. And so you have to really understand who you are. There's also jealous people. But part of being a jealous person is if you're a jealous person, you know what I'm saying. You do as jealous people who like themselves aren't jealous. You know what I mean? If you're a jealous person, you know what I'm saying. You don't particularly care too much about it because you need something else there. The jealousy is about trying to get the attention and wanting the attention, the focus to be on you and nobody else, right? And you don't like yourself if you don't, if you know, you, I'm a married person. Those that know me, I'm married to the fly Puerto Rican. I could care less what the fly Puerto Rican does. I don't care. Why? Because I like me. I like me. I like me enough to say, if the fly Puerto Rican decides that she wants to go and do whatever it is she wants to do, then she don't like herself. You know what I mean? I have to have enough me power, like not me is like selfish me, but enough confidence in saying I like myself enough that I project enough of that to the person that I'm with that they are going to be with me for what is the duration or whatever, you know? And I can't, as a person who likes himself, I can't be that person that sits around and is jealous all day. I can't do that. My personality and who I am as a person, because I like who I am, I can't do that. Who like think about this. And people say, Sean, you sound like you're all over the place. All right, let me put this to the test. When you're if you're in a jealous if you're in a jealous state, what do you think about yourself? I mean, there's no way that you can be happy how jealousy feels inside of yourself. How you can feel like you're worth anything if you're jealous. How does that work? Because there's something inside of you that's making you feel jealous at that point. Well, I can't. Well, she looked at another guy. Well, you can't feel particularly good about yourself if you're thinking that she's looking at another guy. And most of the time, that's your insecurity that's telling you that. It might not even be true. I knew a guy that unalived his girlfriend. Somebody that I liked very much. She was a really good and nice and wonderful person. And he was always accusing her of cheating and this and that and this and that and looking at other people and other that. And he wound up unaliving her and himself. True story. How did that, right? How do you think he felt about himself with all of that jealousy in his inside of his body? So much so because if you like yourself, you're not going to unalive yourself, right? So you can't like yourself if you have that much jealousy in your heart, in your body. You can't like it. There's no way you like yourself. There's no way that if you're jealous, you can't like who you are in the inside. But you can change that. Because jealousy is a choice. Anger is a choice. Sadness is a choice. Happiness is a choice. All of these emotions are choices. People say, well, son, some people can't control it. That's a lie. That's a bull-faced lie from the enemy. That's a lie. They could control it. They just don't want to. They don't want to. Why should they control it? They don't want to. They, they in some way feel that there's no way else outside of that. They can't punch their way out of that. And so they just live in it. And it just piles on and piles on and piles on and piles on. First of all, well, let me not say that yet. But yeah, it just piles on to the point where they can't escape. They can't escape, and it's just one of those things that just happens. And they say, well, uh we just can't just let those emotions go because we're human beings. Yes, you can. You don't want to. You don't want to, and that's just the skinny of it. You would rather do what you do instead of, you know what I mean, changing that or finding a way out from that. We don't look through each other's phones. No, I don't even look. I would never look through the fly Puerto Rican's phone because you know why? I don't care enough. I don't care. I don't care. What the heck do I look like looking through her phone? Like, oh, I want to see you talking to. I don't care. I don't care. She could be talking to every dude on or at her job. Every dude she meets on the street, she be texting them all day. Sean Black, Dawn and Mac does not care. I don't care. I don't care. Imagine living your life like that. I can't do that. That's nothing. I have to. But that again. That is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm saying. If I cared that much, it would sound It would sound crazy. What up? Bud is in the building. Talking about you don't like yourself if you can't like yourself if you're jealous. You can't like yourself if you're always angry. You can't like yourself if you're mad all the time. You can't like yourself. What do you mean? People who like themselves aren't jealous and angry and whatnot. You gotta be secure in who you are. Yeah, you have to trust your person. That is true. You have to have the ability to trust people too. And then trust isn't just, something you just do. I mean, I get that part of it. You can't be like, oh, yeah, you know what? I blindly just trust you. No, you build trust, of course, but you don't go into it. Let me see your phone. The only way I can trust you is if you give me the code to your phone. Like, get the heck out of here. Who does that? Like, son, that's weird stuff. We was raised like you never went in a woman's purse. That was like off limits. To this day, I don't even go in my wife's purse. I don't go in there. She'd be like, "Oh, go get this." I go and bring her the bag. She'd be like, "Oh, well, you could have just went in there." No, what am I going in there? That's like going in your pocket and taking something out of it, like reaching in your pocket and just digging in your joint, just taking your stuff. Like, who does that? Who does that? That's weird stuff. I don't do this. Who does that? Not the kid. I can't be a party to that stuff. You know what I mean? And so I think also too security comes in being a member of the family of God too. Everybody say what up to Bun, aka Yvette Welch, who is my sibling, my younger sibling. My younger sibling finally decided to come in and listen to me ramble about. So my advice to you, so so my advice to is that you need to find out about peace. TT Bunny is in the building. You got to find out about peace. You got to find out about who the Prince of Peace is. And when you have that peace, then all that other stuff will fall into line. It'll fall into place. Everything will fall. I think a lot of it comes from, like me personally, a lot of it comes from me being a Christian who's been saved. You know, I don't have those kind of issues, you know, because of that. It's not because I did a whole bunch of work or whatever. It's not me. But I understand on the outside. No. Now that I understand that I can't like myself if I don't have peace. I can't like myself if I'm angry. I can't like myself if I'm jealous. I can't like myself. I can't do any of those things. All of that kind of stuff is just those type of emotions that keep you in a system that goes like this, and you just spiral. You know what I mean? People I know that be spiraling all the time. Like people be spiraling, man. You be like looking at them like, what the heck is going on? Like every day is a different bag of emotions. You know, it's like, man, I'm angry. Why you angry? Because of this, that, and other thing. You like, bro, what the heck is wrong? Like, son, don't you get tired of being that way? Don't you get tired of just being like angry and swollen with pride and jealousy and all? Don't you get tired of that? Isn't that exhausting? I'd be exhausted. My brain is exhausted. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get rid of this. I don't know. I guess that's just the way Sean Black thought it back. That's the way his mind thinks. But if you wanna get out of that, the only way out is Christ. That is my advice for you today. Find Jesus. And when you do that, everything else will come together. Your mind will think differently. You know, finding Christ is salvation is also about renewing your mind, like your mind changes, the way you think changes, and when the way you think starts to change, then you'll understand. Like, bro, I can't be like this. This is crazy. I can't sit here and wallow in these thoughts. Imagine being angry all the time. I used to be angry all the time. That's true. Now I can't even fathom that in my mental space. I used to be angry dude all the time. Now I'd be like, what the heck? I can't even imagine to think like that. You know? What up, bun? What you doing? It's 8 o'clock. I just noticed it's 8 o'clock. I don't even bun. I didn't know bun. I didn't know you was gonna be up. I'm glad you came on. Give me your 2 cents, bun. That's right. You have to also accept that you can't control other people. Trying to control will kill you. It exactly. And maybe I don't say it as skillful as I should have said it, right? But that's exactly right. Everything else is outside of your control. What are you talking about? Look at you, just accuse me of not being nice. I'm always listen, but I'm always nice. I'm always nice. I'm the nicest. Listen, your older sibling has changed his ways. I'm always nice. That's it though. But you're exactly right. Trying to control other people will kill you. You can't get your mind cannot be in that space. It just can't. You cannot be in that space. And everybody knows somebody that is in that headspace. And so maybe I didn't say that. Maybe because Bun, the smarter half of the siblings is on, and she knows how to articulate. I say it in a way that kind of like come off a little bit harsh, but it is all real. It's all real stuff. Like you have to be able to. You can't control other people. You have to control what's going on with you first. Once you control what's going on with you, you can then branch out. But being in control of who you are comes from having a relationship with Christ. That relationship with Christ then translates, and then you won't want to control nothing else because that's you be like, man, I'm so busy trying to figure out what's going on in here and dealing what's going on here. I ain't got time to be dealing what's going on over there. You know what I mean? That's me right now. I don't have the energy. I am every day trying to do what's right in the sight of the Lord, and it is hard work. It is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of hard work to die to the flesh. It is hard work. It is hard work, and I don't have the energy or the time to worry about what the fly Puerto Rican is doing, going through her phone, talking about this and doing that. I don't have time to be angry at the job. I don't have time to be angry with people in the street. I don't have time. Now, are there times where you kind of just like, I'm not putting up with this today? Of course, because you're a human being. You slip. I'm talking about the core of who you are. You cannot be if you're angry all the time or you're jealous all the time or you're this all the time, you're that all the time, bro, your happiness is in jeopardy. You want to be happy, let that stuff go. You want to be happy, let go. First of all, if you want to be happy, find Christ. Second thing is let that stuff go. It's work. It takes work. Anger is probably one of the hardest things for Sean Black, Dorn Mac, to let go. Like I told you before, I always wasn't a nice person, and it was bad. But by the grace of God, I was able to bounce back, and not because I was anything special. It's just because the Lord gave me grace, and that's true. And that's true. And those are true stories. It's the truth. You know what I mean? It's the truth. Um, what else y'all got for me today? I mean, give me your thoughts on it. I know we heard from the fly Puerto Rican. We heard, where's Keita at? Keita! Where's Dez at? Dez! Where my peoples at? Let me know what y'all think. You know what I mean? Uh, I had a rant and rave today. What time is it? Oh, it's almost time to go. Man, look at that. The time be flying. The time be flying. The time be flying. Man, so yeah, I mean that's my rant for the day. Um, like yourself more. And not in a selfish way, but find out who you are in Christ. And then from there you'll find out everything else will unlock peace. That, ultimately that's what it's all about. Liking yourself is about having peace. The only way you have peace is through Christ. That's what it's really all about. And when you can like yourself and have peace within you, have peace in your heart, you can like yourself. And when you can like yourself, everything else won't matter. Of course you'll still have problems, but it won't be like it is, you know, because it's a lot of people that have things going on in their jobs. It's a lot of people that have things going on in their personal lives. There's a lot of things going on, and people need peace. And the way you find that is through Christ, and you'll like yourself more. I'm telling you. Usually I don't say take my word for it, but take my word for it. Take Shon Black's word for it. We be having fun here. I know it's kind of serious today, but it usually isn't like that. Some Wednesday though. Wednesday I got a lot of show. I got a lot of show to talk about. It's a lot of stuff to talk about. We're gonna talk about a lot of show on Wednesday and Friday. We'll split it up. Did you guys watch your shows for Wednesday? Let's get it together. Let's watch it. Let's get it together. Gotta watch our shows on Wednesdays and Fridays. Um, let's see. We are coming to the end of the show. Wednesday. Mormon Wives on Wednesday. We'll be talking about that crazy hot mess of a show. Those are people that don't like themselves. Anytime you can put yourself out there and do the crazy stuff like that you doing, especially Frankie and them, you don't like yourself. Mormon Wives on Wednesday. I'ma save the goods of the 56 days on Friday, or do Keita, what do you think? You think I should talk about the Mormon Wives on Wednesday or Friday? Cause the other one, the 56 days, yo, that needs a whole episode by itself. Cause that joint is absolutely and positively crazy. I still don't know who did it. I still don't know. Oh, I thought somebody was coming through the door. I thought I got swatted. Thought they was trying to swat Shon Black. But yeah, Wednesday, I don't know. We'll be surprised. Let me know in the DM me. Let me know. Keita, I'll probably see you sometime tomorrow anyway. So let me know what you want, what you like, or Des. Um, but we're gonna talk about that because that joint is a hot mess, man. Hot, 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 hot mess. Ugh, there's so much to say. So much to say. So much going on with that. Like always, take care of yourselves and others. Peace and love. Wednesdays, you know what we'll do. We'll be talking about those two shows and anything else you guys bring up. Have love. Have like yourself. Put away the anger and all of that stuff. Find Christ. That's my advice to you. Like always. Peace and love. We out of here. We are right on time today. 40 minutes. Let me know if you'd like the show to be longer, but right now we're doing 40 minutes. I don't try to overwhelm you guys with the nonsense and just hearing my voice click, clack, and clang, clang, clang back and forth. You know how I'm saying? Talk to y'all later. Peace. See